Have you ever had a vision for how you wanted something to be and tried really, really hard to make it happen, but eventually had to concede that things were not going to turn out the way you hoped they would? In the days before Christmas, when everyone else was dashing around buying stuff, I ran away to the south coast of Oregon for 4 days of solitude, ocean storms, and drawing with fly. It wasn't the trip I thought it would be, but it was definitely the trip that I needed. This is a story about a trip that pushed me well outside of my comfort zone in more ways than one. In the car, heading north, heading off on a drawing trip. I have Fly with me. You probably can't see her, she's snuggled in the back. We're actually going to be car camping. I'm a little nervous because the weather forecast is for a lot of rain. So we'll see how we go. It may be a matter of abandoning the camping and going to a hotel. I don't know. So it's an experiment. I'm excited to be getting out of the city. The southern coast of Oregon is supposed to be absolutely stunningly beautiful. I'm taking my drawing oils with me. I haven't really used these yet, so it's going to be a bit of an experiment. If it's pouring with rain, I may not be doing any drawing, but we'll see how we go. Well, it's certainly raining. Camping is definitely going to be interesting. So we're in a hotel. We got to the campsite, got everything set up, got the awning up. It was pouring with rain. Managed to get partway through dinner and then the wind picked up. I had to take the awning down because I was worried it was going to blow away. Climbed into the car and went to get into bed and had a major claustrophobia attack. Was pouring with rain and I packed everything in the car and drove and found a hotel. So we're heading north to Brookings. I've actually got a cottage for Brookings because there's rain forecast and there's a high wind advisory, and with wind and without the awning and with the claustrophobia, it makes the whole prospect of car camping just a little bit too hard. It's about 7 a.m. I'm planning to have breakfast and head north for today so that we can get some drawing in while it's not raining. It's going to pour tomorrow and Friday. I'm here in Harris Beach State Park. It is amazing. There are the most incredible sea stacks. And the sun's shining, which after the pouring rain last night seems incredible. Loving these colours in the rock. So beautiful. But Harris Park Beach was just a taste of what was to come. And after spending a bit of time there, we headed north to Natural Arches. The place was remarkable. This was why I was here. I was so inspired by the light playing over the top of the arch with the water surging and roiling against the texture of the cliffs that I got my drawing oils out and started to draw. I very quickly realised that the drawing oils were a very, very different beast to watercolour. And after experimenting with them a little bit, I decided that I'd work back into these once I was back in the cottage later that day. Now, more on these drawings in a minute. After I finished drawing, I reluctantly left this beautiful place. I still had a few hours before I could have access to the cottage I was staying in, and so I headed for Whalehead Beach to see what else this amazing place had in store for me. I was still feeling pretty rattled from having left the campsite in a blind panic the night before, but the sights and the sounds and the smell of the ocean began to soothe me. I am at Whalehead Beach, which is the most beautiful beach. We have sea stacks, we have the ocean. There's a gorgeous river or creek that's flowing out to the sea, and the waves are just coming in, and then the sea spray is just creating the most beautiful effect with the light shining through it. Flyby and I have been here for maybe an hour and a half. We've done some drawing, taken some photos, and don't really want to leave because it's just getting more and more stunning as the sun starts to lower in the sky, and we've had it all to ourselves. It's the most glorious afternoon. I would never have thought yesterday that today would be like this, and now I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I was camping. But the forecast tomorrow is terrible. There is a strong wind advisory, so I am going to be comfortable tonight, and I am just taking solace from that. After spending a magnificent afternoon at Whalehead Beach, it was time to head to the cottage before it got dark. It was cosy and there were glimpses of the ocean through the window. But best of all, there was a private trail that led down to the beach. Felt so lucky to have found this place, particularly because it was cheaper than any other hotel that I could find. Fly and I settled in, and later that evening I turned again to the drawings that I'd started earlier that day. This is where I landed with the first drawing. I used the medium to get a colour ground, and then I worked back over that with some more drawing oils and also scratched into it, trying to get a more interesting, rich and textured surface. This was just capturing the texture of the rocks and the play of light along the top of the rocks at Natural Arches. This is the second drawing that I started at Natural Arches. In this one I was just super excited by the play of light and dark, shadow, and then the movement of the water around. This is a mix of oil stick and gouache. I really love the texture that's starting to build up, and it was in this one that I actually felt like I was starting to get an understanding of what the oil sticks need, and they actually need quite a lot of layering to get that kind of richness and the thick impasto-y texture that I really I'm enjoying about this sketch. I awoke the next morning to the forecasted wind and rain and knew that spending a day on the coast was going to be challenging. So I decided to head inland to the redwoods. So this morning we're off to Jedediah Smith State Redwoods. It's rainy and windy, and it seems like it would be a better choice to be under the trees today. I'm excited to see some old growth redwoods and to have a little walk. With Flyby, I can't take her on most of the trails because it's a state park, but there is one road we can walk down, which apparently has some lovely redwood trees. So I'm excited for that. Don't know if we're going to get any drawing in because it is a bit wet. I wish I could share the smell of the wet forest with you. It's a scent that our noses are deeply attuned to, a smell that is absorbed directly by our amygdalas and creates a deep sense of calm. And while I was comforted that I'd made the right choice for me to abandon my car camping plans for now, the scent of the forest eased me further, and being present in this amazing place filled me with joy and gratitude. It is so beautiful, just such an amazing honour to just be in this presence of these beautiful trees and just feel their ancient wisdom. You know, you put your hand on a tree and you just connect to the energy of the tree, and you can feel the connection it has with all the other trees in the forest around it. Trees are the most remarkable beings. Trees communicate with one another via mycorrhizal networks. They warn each other of impending danger and they share resources when needed. We can learn a lot from trees. The road took us down to the Smith River, which was swollen with the torrential rain of the night before. We took a moment to stop and enjoy the mist drifting through the redwood trees. To have a snack, and I took some very, very quick field notes as the rain was starting to fall again. We turned and headed back to the car. Just loving how the aspens just make these kind of polka dots in the forest. We headed back to the cottage and soon realised how sheltered we'd been under the canopy of the trees. The wind had strengthened and the weather was wild. And we headed down to the beach to revel in the exhilaration of the storm. And I wasn't unhappy to not be camping that night. Standing there in that intense weather, I couldn't wait to get back to the cottage and try to capture the experience in a drawing. I still felt very uncertain about what I was doing with the drawing oils, and so I experimented mixing line and then using some oil-based media to thin it out. But it didn't go quite as well this time, and things slowly but surely started to get muddier.
Let it dry. I'm liking this. Sometimes you just have to push it too far before you know what you want to do with it. And that's okay.
Not quite sure why I thought bringing new media along on a drawing trip was a good idea. I decided to do another drawing, trying to capture the mist and rain in the redwood forest from that morning, but I wasn't really happy with where that was going either, so that one also got put up on the top of the fridge to dry. Good morning. It is day 4 of my drawing trip. I'm going to head north to Gold Beach and then work my way south. There are a couple of natural arches I want to check out, and I also want to try and find Secret Beach, which is apparently a local beach according to the person that owns the VRBO that I'm staying in currently. I am here at Gold Beach. It's supposed to not be raining, but it's definitely raining, and a little bleak. So I think we're going to get back in the car and head south again. We stopped in at a couple of places on the way south, marvelling at the rock formations and the winter storm. And we tried and failed to find Secret Beach. The turnoff was unmarked and we must have missed it on our way through. But eventually the weather got to us and we headed back to the cottage for lunch and a nap. And then when I woke up, the sun was shining. So I decided I would try again, and here I am. I'm here at Secret Beach. It is the most beautiful spot. Just sitting here and enjoying the sun going down and the waves and the most beautiful sea stacks. This is the most incredible place. Sitting there on that beach, I was mindful of the fact that this was my last night and tomorrow I would be starting the long drive home. I was so thankful for having spent some time in this amazing place, and even though things had not quite turned out the way I originally planned them, I still had the most rich, wonderful and fulfilling time. That evening I worked back into the 2 drawings that I'd set aside to dry the night before. Was so inspired by the mist playing in and around the redwood trees, super beautiful, and then the bright pops of colour that were the last of the aspen leaves that were shedding, going into winter. And this is where I ended up with the second of the 2 drawings. This one I did of the beach beneath the cottage. A really good record of what it felt like being blasted by that evening storm. I loved that area so much. It was amazingly beautiful. I just loved the drama of that coast and found it so inspiring. And if you loved this video, then you'll definitely enjoy a previous video of mine where I talked about my backpacking trip to Yosemite National Park and the art I made while I was there. So that's all for this time. Please like and subscribe. I know only a tiny percentage of you subscribe, but thank you to those of you who have. Take care and bye for now.